This is how I went from making 15 an hour to over 500 an hour doing literally the exact same thing within a few months. Now, I first want to acknowledge that 500 an hour to some people might sound like nothing, but to other people it might sound crazy. And my reason for making this video is because I feel like when I scroll sometimes it's either one extreme or the other. Like it's either a 21-year-old talking about how he went from living in his mom's basement to now being worth over $100 million in a 6 month span, or the other extreme opposite of all these people who talk about life is pointless, life is meaningless, the system is fixed against you, like it's a victim mentality. And I don't want to identify with that crowd. That's too negative. But I can also understand the intimidation that comes with the 21-year-old showing you all of his supercars and saying this should piss you off. You can create this wealth too from where you're at right now. So I'm attempting to kind of bridge the gap in a sense and give you a more practical way that will make you curious about taking the next step into creating wealth. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, so I have a basketball background. So naturally, my journey of self-employment slash entrepreneurship started with basketball training. But basketball or not, this video is still for you. Just pay attention to the principles. So I was coaching for club teams, organizations, camps where I made on average about 15 an hour. But eventually what happened was I made enough relationships with the parents to where they started approaching me asking if I did one-on-one coaching, private sessions. And I said, yeah. So for a private session, I would charge about 75 an hour. Okay, that's cool. I went from 15 an hour to now making 75 an hour. And then eventually word of mouth starts to compound. I feel like I'm doing pretty well. But then one day I had some parents ask if I was interested in doing a group session, which just means multiple kids in the gym at the same time. And I said, sure. And that day I made a couple $100s in a single hour of work, and I got paid the same day I did the work. From that day forward, I only focused on doing group sessions. I remember I texted every contact of every parent of every kid I had ever trained that day, and I had about 10 say yes for the next group session that I scheduled. Now, 10 kids, you're charging them each $50 for the hour. You just made $500 in 1 hour. And the coolest part about it was the most profitable hour I ever had. I got to charge the clients less and I made more, and I still had the rest of my day. That's an important side note also. If you're going to get started in a service-based business, make sure it's a service that you can provide to multiple people at the same time. And like I said before, basketball or not, pay attention to the mindset shift that occurred.